How about Well, good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to this week's edition of MSP Thought Leadership Risk to Revenue. We're here with our really good friend, James. James, how you been?
Can you pronounce my last name?
No, I can never pronounce your last name.
Did we just do that? I saw that. I saw the maneuver around my...
And half the time I'm like, is it James or Jim? Because I call you both sometimes, and because Jim rhymes with Tim, and it just makes it easier. Because
I've been called worse, Tim. I've been called worse.
So, no, how do I pronounce your name then, Jim? James?
Well, it's the Italian way is Mignacca.
Mignacca.
Yeah.
Mignacca. I don't know. Yes. I'm probably screwing it up, but
no, you did great. You did great.
But yeah, we're excited to have you here. We'll kind of dive into all of this in a minute. But did you know about the new binding operational directive that just came out? I know you're in the space when we talk about. Yeah, let me just do this, right? Share. I'm gonna pick this. This just came out on June 10th, talking all about something you all do, which is vulnerability management, right? I know today we're going to talk about MSP well, but this literally 8 days ago just came out, and reprioritizing how vulnerability management is done, looking at a known exploit vulnerability catalog, basically saying the way we've been dealing with VMP or a vulnerability management program needs to change.
Well, right. Tim, first off, you think about it, vulnerability management's been around forever, over a decade, and it hasn't really changed. But at the end of the day, I think the terminology vulnerability is not correct, because it's just one vulnerability around software vulnerabilities. There's many aspects of it, and although I think vulnerability management is important, on its own is less important. And I truly think CVs are dead. It's all about risk. Like, at the end of the day, you're never going to patch everything. So where's your real risk? And it's like it's even like when you go to the doctors, there's certain risk at certain ages versus other ages. Like, you got to look at the context versus just looking at the list. And everyone who is in the trenches doing remediation understands that, because there's just no easy button, and it just doesn't work that way. Right. So yeah, I don't disagree. I think at the end of the day, we have to focus on business outcomes, and that business outcomes needs to be regulatory compliance and lowering your risk of a data breach. That's what it comes down to.
It is. The days of the patch it, I got Microsoft auto patching updated, that's no longer enough, right?
This should not be a problem in today's world. That's what I always say. This should just be. It should be. I don't want to say like my printer, because I think we both know printers don't necessarily work all the time. But this should be. I think it's come down to somewhat of a commodity, and it should be. But not in the way it's presented today as a pure play vulnerability management solution. It's got to have context around where your assets are, where your data is, who has access to what. There's so many other pieces, because the environment has changed from 10 years ago, right?
And what I love about most BODs is it provides a timeline. The 14-day clock is ticking, right? Number one. Number two, it's no longer about did you patch it? It's about did you prove it? Is there chain of custody, right? And a lot of the MSPs at this point, they don't even know what the list is, or have they done anything, right? Is it right? Is it wrong? And to your point, James, is it even exploitable and something I need to worry about today, because the severity of it is a machine that lives inside the building that nobody can ever get to, and all of those exploitable components, how does it impact the business outcome? So as I've been diving deeper into this, and looking at it. And I'll share this in the show notes after, so you have this. What they've done is basically put a time clock, you patched it isn't good enough, and put some priorities around the business outcomes to protecting the business risk at the end of the day.
It has to be about the business outcomes. At the end of the day, what are we really trying to do? We're trying to protect our data. That's it. I think it's always interesting because we haven't changed our way of protecting our data, and like we've been slow about changing is probably what I'd say. But the environment has changed. Cloud computing, everyone's like, it's not one cloud provider. It's, like hundreds, right? And so the data spread everywhere. But, we forget about the fact that what are we actually trying to accomplish? And you said something about kind of checking the box. When I was in New York, when I was young in my career and selling cybersecurity, which was really pen tests back then, to hedge funds in the finance world, it was literally a check the box. The report would go in the drawer of a desk somewhere and just collect dust until next year. And the reality is like what these compliance acts are doing is they're forcing it to be a need to have versus a nice to have, and check the box. And then the fiduciary duty and all that stuff's changing, which it should change. But now we got AI, and that's changing our landscape dramatically as well. So we're always going to be, it's an uphill battle, but I really think we got to get away from, especially in the MSP world, like they're so busy doing so much, like just focus on what matters, right? We got to get rid of the noise for everyone.
Exactly. Well, I'll tell you what. Let's dive in. Take a second to tell us about you. Tell us about MSP Well, and we'll dive into today's topic about the hidden risk behind the scene.
Yeah. No, thanks, Tim. I guess a little bit of background and clarify if there's confusion from the topic of conversation today and what we've been talking about. So I am the CEO of Cavello, and Cavello is a platform that consolidates MSP's tech stack, does vulnerability management, data discovery, access management, and so it helps MSPs put together a cybersecurity practice, make more revenue, and saving money on the consolidation side. So, so while I was at a lot of these events, meeting a lot of vendors, a lot of MSPs, and Tim, we talked about this. You've been at all these events, and at the end of the day, it's like you meet really good people. And MSP Well got started because I've gone through my career, and it was only the last couple of years where I could honestly say I started to experience quote unquote mental health, and whatever that means. And like, it was so weird for me because I never thought it would happen. It's probably what I'd say. You hear about it, but then I started talking about it, and I realized like I'm not alone. Everyone seems to have a story, whether or not it's about them, a loved one. And long story short, I just kept talking about my story, and then we realized there's an opportunity in the channel to help folks with mental health. It's not specific to just MSPs. It's vendors, investors, anyone in that community. And so that's what we did. We started it early this year. We launched it at an event and got up and did a panel session. It was an experience. I talk in front of a lot of folks, but when you're talking about something personal, you're in front of 150 people, and you're telling them, real stuff. It's a different talk track, and it's real. And I found it very difficult, and we ended up having two other folks in the audience tell their story. And I thought to myself, what is like, this is like a weird thing for me, because like, how do you measure success? I don't necessarily know, but I do understand the fact that there's two people that stood up to tell their story. I mean, that's what it is for me. And their story, like it was a very, it was a different vibe in that room. It was very real. Is probably what I'd say. And so we ended up, and this is not a me thing. MSP, well, I've always said after a couple of years, I don't want to necessarily, I just want to be a member. And I want it to have legs on its own. I want other people to come and take it to the next stage, if you will. I want it to live on its own in the channel. I think that, this is something that is needed. And so, but we brought on industry folks that are interested in this, who can help us with the initiative.
Nice. Excuse me, choking on my own damn words here. Yeah, and well, I suppose I should just, hey everybody, Tim Golden, founder and CEO of Compliance Scorecard, where we help your MSP have the risk conversation, which, oh, by the way, ties directly into what James and I are talking with today about the hidden risk in your MSP and how MSP Well can help you kind of get a little better handle on our mental health, our hidden risk, and the things around keeping our own risk and our own mental health in check. So, James, when we last met, I don't even remember what conference we were at, doesn't really matter, but we were talking about MSP Well. In fact, I think we've been talking about this for a while. And maybe I shared my story a little bit with you of last summer, fall, spring, through the summer. I had some health issues, trying to figure out things, different medicines, totally effed me up. The medicine that they put me on made me asshole Tim. Right?
And Tim, you're not an asshole. Anyone who knows you.
Well, thank you for that.
Yeah, no, you truly aren't. So, yeah.
And I felt it. Both physically, emotionally, mentally. And, I love my grandkids. That's why I have my pink hat for my granddaughter, right? My first grandchild. And one day I just snapped at her. No reason. We have this thing. It's, donut Pepe, right? She goes and she runs to the closet. She gets her donut. We have our snack and it's donut Pepe. Well, one morning I'm just, ooh, and she's like, donut Pepe. And she runs to the closet and I'm like, leave it alone. And I just snapped at her. And the look of when that child's like, I don't know what I did wrong. That was my moment, right?
Yeah.
And I had to stop and I had to think for a second. And I had to who the hell am I? What have I done in the last 3 to 6 months that I have just destroyed stuff and people and relationships? Come to find out, I'm on this stupid epilepsy medicine that I should have never been on to begin with. Anyways, different story. But it was a bigger issue than just taking a medicine to essentially make me better. So much like yourself, I had to stop. I had to regroup. I had to build my own operating system. And this is how we kind of started talking about what you're doing, right? What you're doing with MSP Well and any of that kind of stuff, and take a moment to just step back and think and work through, where are we? Because you know what? One more ticket, one more line of code, one more pull request, one more, I don't know, burnout. It's real. But we don't, as founders at least, and even some of our, staff and techs, if the team is off, if our mental health is off, execution is off.
I think I had to probably be careful in citing some of these opinions that I have, because they just are opinions. But truly, if you think about it, today's world is a lot different than it used to be.
This
right?
is true.
And I feel like, yeah, and it doesn't affect. This is one of these things where it doesn't matter if you're, it doesn't matter what your job role is and what your job is. Quite frankly, it affects everyone equally. I truly do believe it. Like I can argue I'm more stressed because of this, that, and another. But you know what? Like, come on, go look at our nurses. Like, I mean, you couldn't pay me anything in the world to do what they do. And I mean that truly. And so I think that this is something that affects everyone. And I think it's the environment we live in. And it's like, I had a conversation with someone this morning, and it's just everywhere you look, it's like, you go and get groceries. It's so expensive. Turn on the news. Don't turn on the news. Whatever you do, do not turn on the news.
Don't turn on the news.
You know, you can't talk about certain things that you could before, and it's like, you're set, there's expectation setting about what you need to do, and sometimes, let's be honest, things just don't happen the way you want it. Now with AI, like it's a topic I talk about a lot, and you hear about these layoffs, 40% layoffs left, right, and center, and I still believe, like, they're using the AI headline as a way of as an excuse, but there's now it's to the point where it's like, truly companies believe that they could replace humans with AI. I mean,
it's not even just the
I don't understand where that comes from, because like if you looked at my laptop right now, you can, if I turn it around, we're all using AI. Like we're probably coding right now, Tim, right? But at the end of the day, it doesn't replace people. It allows them to do more, be more efficient. And I think but I think the reality is we're going through a transition, and it's affecting people's mental health in so many ways. And I don't think people are happy. I said this morning, I said, go to Walmart and find someone, and I guarantee someone will be mad at you for doing something, but it's not because they're mad at you. It's because they're not happy with their life. And it's natural to blame others and all that stuff. And I think that we just need to be aware that everyone's going through so much. I've got the Italian blood where I would always, like, I'm up for an argument. Let's do it. And now I'm just like, you know what? It's not worth it. I got my own problems. You got your own problems. And then when you actually talk to someone, they tell you their problems, and you're like, oh wow, you bond. And so I think that we have to be kinder to each other.
Yeah, a lot of different touch points there. So I spent a lot of time reading and, listening to books on tape. Whatever. I spent a lot of time researching different. Yeah, E-Trek. 45. What are you talking about? 33s. Anyways, kind of researching and learning. Psychology I know nothing about, but I spend a lot of time learning about it. Maybe in a next life I should go back and get a couple psychology courses, whatever. But it's always fascinated me. And, something that I've seen, I guess, pattern-wise is people get into conversations about how worse off my life is than yours, maybe. And feels like there's this underpinning of competition of I broke a fingernail. Well, I broke my whole finger. Well, I broke my arm. Well, I broke my entire, wait, stop. Your stuff is as equally important to you as my stuff is as equally important to me. There's no measuring stick, at least a part of, my thought process and but we do this a lot. And then I look back at my life, and I need to stop comparing my crap to other people's crap, because you know what? It affects us all differently. I've got a lot of great friends that they had a broken fingernail, no big deal. Like, if I got a broken fingernail, oh my God, the world's going to, you know what I mean, conceptually. And I think that there's a lot of this, my trauma is worse than your trauma. And the reality is, everybody's stuff is different.
Yeah, I think that everyone's got a story. It all starts when you're a kid or something like that. We hold on to that, and we try to make it through life without it coming out. Whatever it is, like whatever trauma or something. But as you were talking, I was thinking my dad always said, he'd always say, what's life all about? And it's not about the car you drive. It's not about the title you have. It's not about the money in the bank. What I learned, it's about my family and my kids. And it's not about legacy crap. They don't care. Honestly, they don't care. And I was not a great father at times, and I truly that's what changed me to be more self-aware and there's a difference between being with your kids in a room but being with them, like
what I mean? My wife does this all the time when the grandkids are here. And I'm like, what are you talking about? I came downstairs at lunch, and she's like, you were in the room, but you weren't here.
I challenge everyone. So to list. So the other thing I do now is I don't care what your age your kids are. Listen to them. You will learn. They make you better people. And we're never perfect creatures, but when you figure out what your priorities are in life, you can start to heal some of the other stuff. I mean, I think that it's part of the journey. Like, I think this is all part of the journey. And, I think that being able to talk about it is a really important part of that. And I think people are willing to actually talk about it now. I think people, and the stories, Tim, are like, you will cry. Like, there's no question. It's you will cry. Like, there's real stories like that, and it affects people, and just the look on their face after they tell the story is just overwhelming. Like, it's like they've taken a weight off their shoulder. Quick side note here. One of the things we've been doing with MSP Well is we started with posting our stories, not because, hey, poor me. It's not about that. It's about the opposite. It actually starts other people to talk. And what's interesting is everyone's got a different, we've all grown up different ways, but where I'm going with this is Larry Meador. He started MSP Well with us, and great guy. He introduced me to the channel, and I'm grateful for that. Yeah. He's launching his story is going to go live today, and you get to know someone on a different level when you understand their story, Tim.
Yeah, you do.
It's a weird thing I can't describe, but like it truly, you're like, okay, now I get it. You can start to be like, you have a different kind of bond, and it doesn't mean you even need to know the person. But it's like you understand the background. It's like it's like if you're into cars, right? And like some of these antique cars, they'll give you a report on where they came from. It's like that story is the background of the person, and a little bit of their life journey, and it's just incredible.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I think, as we kind of dive in here, I know we've only got like 5 or 6 or 7 minutes here, right? Bunch of different things, right? We all have different stories. We all come from different walks of lives. Some of us are maybe a little bit better at being able to share our story and relate to others in that. But when I look at something like MSP Well, I mean, it gives us an opportunity, and I hate to say safe space, like maybe that's one of the stupid words we can't use or we're supposed to use now, and I don't know, whatever, politically correct stuff. but it gives us an opportunity to realize that at the end of the day, we're all still human. We all have businesses that we're running or working in or whatever. But being able to have, I don't know, outlets, friends, places to go, to talk, to share your story, to relate with others, to be like, you are not alone. I've been working a lot on myself personally over the last, year after I've said, the things that, whatever, the medicine fucking me all up, all that stuff. And one of the patterns that I've recognized, not just in the last 3 years of being in the space as a vendor, but in the last 50 years as a human, I have always felt at my core that I am the loneliest person in the crowdest room. And I think a lot of people can feel that way, especially like you started this off about conferences. Here we are, 300 or 2 or 3,000 humans in a room, all in a similar space, all in a similar vertical, doing our thing, talking to people. But I bet if you go to the core of any individual and you walk up to them and you truly care and ask questions, you're probably going to find a commonality. You're in a room of 1,000 people, but you feel alone. That may be, it may not be, I don't know. But for me, that is something that I've discovered about myself in the last couple of months is like, yeah, there's a pattern here. And, but being able to have that conversation here, now, live, on camera, right? So that others can then maybe feel a little bit empowered to share their story, to maybe reach out to a friend or maybe have that conversation. Because you know what? As alone as we all may feel, we're not. There are people that truly care and want to work together. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm talking out my ass, but it's just something that I've discovered about myself here in the last couple of months is my pattern, feeling alone, even though I'm in a room full of 10,000 people.
Yeah, no, one comment I'll say about the community. Everyone in this community should give themselves a hand on the back and say, we did something good, because we have that community. I say we, I'm still new to it. You guys have created truly, and I think about it, there's no other industry I'm aware of where we have the bad people and people that are in the community are good people and they actually want to help. Like even on the MSPs, helping other MSP side, that is not something I've seen before in tech. So everyone should be super proud of that. But Tim, I had the opposite. I couldn't be alone. I realized I didn't want to be alone, and I would have these fake, friends or relationships, and you got to figure out what really matters, I think. And for me, it's my family and kids. But I challenge everyone to be alone, only because for me, it forced me to get to know myself better.
Yeah.
And I can honestly say now I enjoy being by myself and spending time by myself. I do still find myself very entertaining and funny. I just will tell you that. So I do laugh at my own jokes, my dad jokes. But listen, I think, and I know we're coming up on time here, but here's what I would say is, you're right. It's like we got to talk about it more. On the MSP Well side, we just got started. You can sign up. We're in the middle of getting funding, and we are going to be at a lot of events doing talks. And so year one is really about establishing members, and then getting the foundation up and going, and then we're going to offer services like wellness packages at events. Like it's hard to go to events. Like anyone who goes to events knows, like you're not sleeping, you're not eating properly. That's when you get flare-ups. That's when you get anxiety attacks. We want to be there for our people. We're going to bring professionals in. Like we're not professionals, Tim. We're on the other side, right? So we're going to be professionals. There's this whole wellness practice that I'm really intrigued by and excited to go through. Myself, Larry and Joe, who started MSP Well, great people. We're actually going to do it ourselves, and then we're going to bring it on through MSP Well. But I think that it's a starting point, but it's there for everyone. And everyone says, "Well, how can I help?" This isn't about me. It's not about you, Tim. It's not about Joe, Larry, or anyone who's on the board. It's about everyone. You can help by being a member, and we'll figure out how we can do this together. It's not one person. It's a community thing.
And I love that, right? Because, we talk about the MSP and we talk about the community of it. And there are a lot of great aspects to the quote community of MSPs. And, this is just another opportunity for the community to support each other and those MSPs to support those MSPs well.
No.
Sorry. How's that for a little plug? No, I think we always try to wrap these up with some kind of key takeaway for the MSP. James, I'm going to pull you up here. Maybe you have a key takeaway that you'd like to share with them, other than check out the website, mspwell.com. We'd love to have you a member. But what is a key takeaway that you might consider for our MSP audience today?
Yeah, so when it comes to mental health, there's only one thing I tell everyone, and because I'm not a professional, so I keep saying that. But from my standpoint, you got to have a support group. It's that simple. If you don't have a support group, then you need to find one and reach out to people that can find a support group for you. People don't realize anxiety attacks are real. They're physical. They take over your body, and people think they're having heart attacks, and it's scary. It's really, really scary. It's one of these things you cannot do alone, and I know a lot of people think they can. I'm lucky. I had some great friends and family who were there for me. And by the way, there's no real answer to anything. Like, it's not like anyone comes in with this magic wand, but you gotta have people there to help you through that journey, and it never goes away either. It's not like a flu. It's something you're going to battle with your entire life, and you should be proud of it. It should be part of you. And I tell everyone, get a therapist. Therapy is like going to the gym. It should be just ongoing.
Yeah, and I do. I love the concept of build your tribe, get a network, put some support things in place, especially for I hate to say for us vendors, we're always on the road, always at conferences. Our support group is the other vendors because we see them 7 times a week or whatever it is. MSPs, they might go to 1 or 2, we might do 10 or 20. And so I love the concept of get a tribe. The other thing that I'd like to try to think about, for a takeaway, and I alluded to this earlier, and it kind of ties right into what you were saying, James. You're not alone, right? You don't have to do this alone. And to kind of piggyback on what you said in the beginning, you should be proud of where you are, and you should be your own cheerleader, which I know for me is hard, and the things that you've accomplished. I would challenge our listeners with 2 things. One, get a pen and paper, not your Claude, not your whatever, not your dictation, maybe a pen and paper. And I say that as the guy that hates pen and paper. And I would write down, look over the last 6 months, we're halfway through the year, and write down 6 to 10 accomplishments. That's it. So that you always have a thing to refer back to of, wow, I'm not this, I'm not that. I actually did this and I actually did that. So that would be the first takeaway, which would be write down a list of things that you feel like you've accomplished, no matter how big or how small. I woke up every day and I made my bed. Or I closed 5,000 deals this minute, whatever. What you deem is important Write a list. The second thing I would do is encourage you, as James suggested, start to build your tribe.
Yep. Yep.
So, James, where are we going to see you next?
It's funny. I was at PAX 8 last week, and I wasn't supposed to be there. So I tend to be everywhere, whether I like it or not. Whether or not it's just for 1 or 2 days, but we are doing the Exchange Security in Texas
and Fresno.
Yep, and then GTIA. GTIA.
Oh,
there you go. There's a GTIA one as well, and we're just solidifying some of the other ones for MSP that we'll be at. But if you go to our website, you'll be able to see the events that we're attending.
Awesome. So I will see you in 2-3 weeks in Fresno at Exchange. We'll see you at ChannelCon.
Hey Tim, I'm bringing my 2 boys to Texas.
Nice. Are we gonna golf?
My oldest can, probably better than me. But let's be clear, we're just gonna go get cowboy hats.
Perfect.
And
so
smokehouses.
I've been to this same venue. I was there last year. Number one, it's like 170,000 degrees.
Yeah.
It's a nice place, but man, is it hot. So we're looking forward to catching up with you there. James, as always, thank you for taking the time to join us. For our MSPs, head on over to mspwell.com and learn how you can, maybe get a little well yourself. So, James, thank you so much. Do the like, subscribe, the thingies, whatever, but we will see you all in 2 weeks.
Subscribe now.
Thanks for that.
Dude,